What's up, guys? Welcome back. Yeah, I'm live. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the last transfer live, basically, because tomorrow there will be a live tomorrow, but it's a late night live for Justin and Julian, so the transfer window would have been kind of closed by then. So this is actually the last live show when the transfer window was actually open for us. And as expected, nothing for the first team, but as unexpected, a couple of things for potentially the first team. I won't put it like that. But nothing, on the outgoings, name it. Kostic, Junior, Keane, like all the players still kind of linked with a potential move are not moving basically, and they're all here unless something crazy happens tomorrow. But the expectations are nothing crazy is gonna happen. So let's go over the latest news, and you guys in the chat help me out because it's not gonna be a very long one. But we made some moves, and actually the entire day today, from the moment I opened up the newspapers, basically, not literally, but just on my phone, the news was dominated by the club is saving money. Like that was the theme of the day. The club saving money, the club not wasting money, the club needing to become self sustainable, basically. Um, every single newspaper. So it felt like the club briefed the media basically to put that out there because um, that's basically what was dominating the news today. Now, Calcio Mercato is saying that West Ham are still looking at Kostic, but as of now, that's not much. But that was news, and it started off with Gazzetta dello Sport. That was kind of the big story of the day, and you can see it on my right hand side. It's what we expected. The club needs to cut wages, needs to cut costs, and all those things. And by doing that, they also cut the average wage of the club of the team, and I think that was needed as well. Um, whilst not losing too much quality, I think that was the key. I think they did that, But as a fan, personally, and let me know if I'm wrong, you're not just waiting. You're not looking at the club and you're like, wow, they're cutting the wage bill, or they're cutting costs. Amazing. Like, I'm not going to cheer that because the reason we need to cut the wage bill and whatever is because you handed out these wages, as a club. That's what you did as a club. So that's why you are cutting these wages. It's not that these players came in and they told the club, give me 3.5. Like they can ask for it, but the club at the end of the day needs to agree with all the wages, being paid basically. And that's actually the situation. So I'm not going to praise the club for, I'm going to praise them for getting rid of certain players. But at the end of the day, as a fan, you don't want to talk about, money and all those things. Like it's actually, I remember like back, let's not go back that far, but let's say 2011, first season of Conte, and even the following season, we were not that stressed about money and all those things, and even transfer fees. Now it's a big thing, like it's a big part because everything is so public. You have Romano tweeting out, I don't know, actually almost the bills from the restaurants where those deals have been agreed on. Like it's very specific now, and that's why we're all kind of caught up in financial situations. We know the situation of the club is bad, and it's good to cut the wage bill and whatever, but it's all pointless if you don't make top four and make that Champions League. That needs to be said. But it's also pointless, in my opinion, when you read that news and you scroll down a little bit in the same newspaper, and then you get the news of, oh, they're gonna give Rugani a new deal to spread the wages. I'm like, he's a free agent next summer. Like you don't need to spread nothing. Like you don't you there. He's a free agent next season, Rugani. You don't need to spread the wages at all. Like you can get rid of the wages. Like what about that? So at one side they're like, we're cutting costs, and at the other side I'm like, you're adding costs, unneeded costs. Basically, you don't need to keep Rugani in the squad. Like, it's done. You have a player who is good enough, in my opinion, to already do a job in Hoysen. But you're playing Alexandro in a back three, all those things. So you can praise cutting costs, but at the flip side, the same thing, they're adding unnecessary costs. De Chilio, new contract. All these things. Like, you're doing it to yourself at one point. You're not learning. But that's basically the theme of the day. It's money. It's not we're selling Kostic, we're selling Keane. You're getting in, I don't know, like an extra midfielder, a right winger, I don't know. That was not the theme of the day. Not surprising, because I think I'm since 2 weeks I'm saying, like, it's all fun, that there are rumors about Kostic could leave, and everybody, like, journalists are pushing it. I'm like, can anyone tell me the team that is actually interested in him and actually open talks? If not, all these reports are completely pointless because they are coming across as they are the last minute emergency plans, basically. And it could still happen, but it feels like unlikely that Kostic is gonna leave. There was an article in the Gazzetta dello Sport saying that his management is confused, shocked that he hasn't played a single minute this season. They don't get it, and they are open to move, but the article ended with there is no offer. There's no talks with Kostic. There's no talks with Juve. Then it's difficult. Like, it's extremely difficult to make a deal happen. Same for Keane. Milan could be interested. Fulham could be interested, but nobody is offering anything. Not even a loan fee. Absolutely nothing. So that's the situation as well. These are the things, because I saw a picture today about, transfer fees spent in the top 5 leagues, or whatever you want to call it. And obviously, the Saudi League, the Premier League were dominating, but Italy was kind of close, not close, but like it was close to like 800 million euros. And I was like, man, I went over it in my thought process, and I was like, how? Like, did I miss big money signings? And then I looked deeper into it, and yeah, we paid 30 million euros for Locatelli basically this year, and we paid 30 million euros for Keane this year. And that's where I sat back and I'm like, we paid almost 36 million euros for Moise Keane, almost 37 whatever for Locatelli. And I'm like, wow. Like, I couldn't believe it. And then I sat back and I'm like, yeah, it's normal that it's very difficult to sell Keane, and the clubs are not willing to spend what you want to make up for what you actually spend for Keane. So it's extremely difficult. It's extremely not pleasant, basically, to follow the transfer news for us. Let me read it out, because the news is from I have the article from Calciomercato, but I cannot open it. But I think it's from Nico Balice. Let me, because it's about Kostic, when we were talking about Kostic, but I cannot open. Let me see. It is from Nico Balice. He said West Ham are back in for Kostic. The time is not helping, which doesn't make a potential deal easy. But the club is open to move on Kostic, basically, but they want 50 million euros. That's basically what the news story is kind of suggesting. So again, that's what I said. It's the same thing. It's absolutely the same thing. It's nothing really big time news, but again, anything can happen if West Ham put the money. Let me get it out. Let me know in the chat, because that's also a debate. Would you let Kostic go now for, let's say, 50 million euros? Will you do it? And keep in mind, it's 50 million euros. Because 50 million euros is fine, but we cannot do anything with it. And I think we needed to do still some things. We needed to still make some moves, and we haven't. I'm sorry, people, but I need to get it out really quickly. Um, yeah. So Kostic could be leaving again. Whatever. West Ham low-key has a better team than us. No, they don't. They don't. I'm sorry. Like, they don't. No. But I know what you mean. But it's just I don't think Kostic is gonna leave, by the way. But he could be still leaving, so whatever. Forget about that. Let's see if anything happens. It's only one day left. I think it's like 24 hours basically, and then it's done. I think it's 24 hours, or does it close differently again? I thought they changed that. I thought they closed for everything for every team at the same time this season, but I could be wrong again. Um, let's move on to whatever I was going to talk about, and that's all the youngsters we kind of signed today, and it was, you know what it is. If we were in 2016, you know, if we were in 2016 and were getting the news you were getting today, everybody was not even gonna blink an eye on it for two reasons. One, we were good and we wanted different players, that's one. And we had money, we had like, big expectations. And two, our youth setup or idea of playing the youth and whatever, everything surrounding that back in 2016, nobody cared. Like, let's be completely honest, nobody cared about the under 90s. And even when the under 23 first started, nobody really cared about what is going to happen, what are they going to do, and all those things. But because we are kind of dying on the transfer market today, no signings, no links, no news whatsoever. And we can see Sule coming through, Miretti, Fagioli on loan, Junior, Huysen, Yildiz, and we still have some in the under 23s. That's kind of caught our attention also because like that's the direction we need to go. And we made 3 signings. I'm gonna go over them because I don't know any of them. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is the first time I heard the names of these 3 players, so I have no insight. But I'm gonna say the 15th of September. I'm lying. I think it's the 12th of September. The 12th of September. Yes, me, Julian, will have somebody on who follows, like a scout, who follows all these youngsters, and he does it with a passion. And he will talk about these players, and he will talk about the next gen and who are the next players up. Playing for the U19s. So that podcast is coming the 13th of September, basically. So I'm just going over the names, and that's about it. Because more than that, I have absolutely no clue who they are. Let's start off with the first one, and I need to not butcher the names. I think it's Salifu. He's from Werder Bremer. I think he's 20. He's 20 years old, and his main position is DM. Now, that's a loan, I think it is, with an option to buy. That's also surprising that we're doing these type of deals. I think he played last season in the 3rd division in Germany or the 4th division. I don't know. It's one of those things. Is where he actually played, I believe. He is a defensive midfielder. He's extremely tall. Now I'm seeing at it, but it's a position like long-term thinking we need, ironically, and we had, but we let Rovella go, excuse me, and now we have no DM basically in the squad. And to kind of top it off a little bit, we brought in another Polish player, Mazur. I think he's Polish. Pretty sure he's Polish, but he's 16, but he's also a DM. So that's the interesting part, is that I think personally, in general, left back, right back, and DM for me is a very tough position to find. That's just my opinion. At this moment in time, I think those positions are extremely difficult to find. I think finding a winger is easy, a number 8 easy as well. Yeah, center backs kind of easy, goalkeepers fine, but I think DMs, left and right back, are positions that are really tough to, like, good ones, not by Alfonso Davies, like the obvious ones, but like just good ones, building up good ones. I think those are tough positions. So it's kind of interesting that we are bringing in 2 DMs. Now, actually, from what I've read, 16 years old or not, he is projected to kind of push for the next gen really, really soon. Julian reached out to the person that's coming on to the show. Um, and he said, things being said about him are extremely positive as well. Um, that's one thing. Um, Sorry, I was reading out. Um, Reading out. Let me put out the comments now. I'm on it really quickly. And he said, I think the first guy is just there to strengthen the next gen for 1 year, and he gone. Could be, but I don't. I think it. Yeah, I think it's more the last one, because now I'm looking at his profile, and he was injured last season. I think that's the issue. I don't think they're just gonna loan players for 20 years old, paying a little fee, and just then push them out of the door again. I don't think that's very. Um, that's not the business you should be doing for the next gen. Like, that's weird business, in my opinion. You just sign them and you move them on if they don't make it, or you just promote them if they're actually that good. I think that's the business you should be doing. Not Don't start with loans with options and then move them on for the next gen. Like, that's something you do first teamish, in my opinion. Um, but again, two DMs. They needed to strengthen the under 23s. I'm not gonna lie, because it's not as good as it was, and they play in a division that's extremely tough. Like, it's extremely tough. It's gonna be a dogfight. In my opinion, because it's not the league they're playing, or like the whatever the teams are playing last season were much more. They're weaker. Period. The league they're in now, the division they're in now, they have like 5 or 6 teams that have Serie B written all over them. So it's not going to be easy, but let's see. Like, I don't know any of these players, nothing. Now let's move on, especially Vidal type of players, those box to box who can take tackle passes. Sure, yeah, yeah. But I think like left back and right back are the most difficult ones. And talking about left back and right back, we got another one. I'm gonna call him Ivano, because I'm not gonna even attempt to pronounce his last name. Um, he gives me Wea vibes if you look at his stats, because he can basically play the entire back line besides left back, but mainly he is right back. Again, Julian reached out to the guy and he said, um, he said what he said about Yildiz: quality, versatile, but it would be a big mistake to move to Juve, basically. And I'm gonna ask him that, why he thinks that, because he also said that about Yildiz, and Yildiz is now here, first teamer basically. It could still flop, but looking at the projection, the trajectory from Yildiz, I don't think it was a big mistake, because he seems extremely happy with anything that's happening. But yeah, Livano right back again. I don't know much about it. Actually, I have no idea. Um, I have no idea about him. Excuse me. I'm gonna watch the next gen, obviously. I'm gonna do that more this season, and if I have the opportunity, and it's not my off day or whatever, it's not on a Saturday very late when I'm off. I'm gonna do watch longs on this channel for the next gen as well. So stay tuned for that. Actually, I'm gonna try to stream them on Discord, so you guys can follow and join the watch long. If I manage to pull that off, I'm still working on it. But I'm gonna follow the next gen more closely, because we play once a week, so I have some more time to do it. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because we are bringing in positions we need in the first team. In my opinion, we need somebody on the left. Um, we need him. We need DMs. You have one, I get that, but like, these are the positions we need. Because the midfield is kind of covered with youngsters. Or like, yeah, Fajoli's not a youngster anymore, but you have Miretti basically. Left, you have Junior. You have Yildiz, who can play a bit all over the place as well. You have Sule on loan. Should he make it, you have him. Whatever. You have Hoyson at the back, but left back, right back, DM position, that's still up for grabs basically. But let's see. Like, we can be sitting here and be like, let's say in 2-3 months, we could be talking about a player we didn't really mention, from the next gen, because at the under 19s you still have Hassa playing, and the next gen, he should be going next gen more consistently. He's tipped to be very good. I've seen him live. I think personally, from what I've seen, I think he can be a Serie A player, but I'm not sure if he can be the guy everybody wants him to be or the club thinks he could be. But he's signing a new deal, so that's positive. You know, he had a brilliant Euros, like stat wise, obviously as well, because he had the goals, assists, everything. He had them, but we were not really talking about, or like just the general public wasn't really talking about Hassa before um, before the under 29 under 19s under 20s under 19s Euros. So it could be like Nonge could pop up to be, you know what, he's gonna make the first team, excuse me, next season. We don't know if he's gonna make them, obviously, but like it's good to keep an eye on that. That being said, this season, getting into top four, the bare minimum, is a must, because if that doesn't happen, next season you're gonna not gonna sell one player, you're gonna sell two top players. And it, like, we kind of got away with it as a fan. You kept Kies and you kept Vlahovic, but the costs are still there. Like the debt, like the hole in our budget, whatever, in our books, is still there. It's not because they're saying that those holes are disappearing or next season, but I think those are issues for next season, I guess. No, yeah, I'm gonna try to stream it, but it's not as easy as it sounds. What do you think about Pogba as a six, or at least in a double pivot? No, not as a six. Please, no. As I saw that report to free up Locatelli, I get it, but no. Like, why? Like, if Pogba is fit, you don't play him as a six, because that's just criminal. Like, that's absolutely that's criminal. Like, you should go jail if you do that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because if he's fit, and I saw a debate later today, actually on my Instagram account, under under a post, and the debate was that Pogba is not the most talented player in the squad. He is by a country mile. Like, if we are talking about Pogba fit, and yes, he's not in his prime of 2016, he's still the most talented player in the squad, and it's not even close. Like, it's not even close. And if he's fit, you cannot play him as a number six. I don't think anyone wants to see that. Like, let's be completely honest, because his qualities further up the pitch are needed for this team. They are needed, and it's just Locatelli, man. It's I get it, I get it, but like, if you can do just the basic stuff, okay, we will be just fine. I think we will be just fine, to reach our goals for this season, basically, or the goals the club set. But if Pogba's fit, I don't want to see him as a number six. That's just madness. Like, we waited for an entire year, knock on wood, he will stay fit. We waited for an entire season or year, more than a year, to see him play. And then if he's fit, you're telling me he's gonna play in a six? No. A double pivot, fine, but then you need to change the formation, and I'm all for that as well, because I don't want to see that back three. But if you play a double pivot, you need to switch it up completely, and I think that's just way too much to ask for Allegri. I don't think he's gonna do that. So let's see. But Locatelli needs to do better. Obviously, playing his position, yes or no. I mean, you're messing up the most basic stuff, basically, and that needs to change. That needs to change really, really quickly. It needs to change on Sunday against Empoli. Will it? Probably not. Probably not. But it needs to happen. It needs to happen, because I saw the reports, and Allegri's thinking about option A and option B, and every time I read the options, I'm like, this is getting worse. This is absolutely getting worse. So it's just Locatelli. It is what it is. You need to step up. Before we will actually see Fagioli. I think he will play Fagioli in the six before he puts Pogba there. Don't be shocked if you will see Fagioli play in the number six this season at any given time. Maybe it's for one game, two game, whatever, 45 minutes, but don't be shocked, because I've seen Miretti play all over the place. So do not be shocked if that happens. Now, As expected, no news dropping on Juve. Maybe Rabiot as a Busquets type. Oh my god. I know what you're trying to say, but that's mad. Putting those two names in the one sentence. No, I don't think so. But to be honest, like Rabiot's link-up play on the left-hand side is not good. Like it's very static. It's not give and go or whatever. Like it's very static. It's very predictable. It's very slow. Like that's also not a good option. But he's gonna play Rabiot. He's gonna play week in week out, and that link-up play you saw against Udinese, you're not gonna see. You're just not gonna see. Yeah, he's not that good on the ball as well. So who will be our right back, and could we change him to 4-2-3 formation? Well, Weah is gonna be the right back. He's right wing back now, but if you change it, it's gonna be Weah. Cambiasso can play right back as well, but it's gonna be Weah. It is him. Miretti is the only one understanding the link up. I don't really think it's about understanding. It's about more executing it at a good enough level. I think Rabiot tries to play very clean, which is good, but like it's very predictable. It's very slow, and it's very boring. Let's be completely honest. And you saw that. It was just get that ball to Chiesa, and Chiesa needs to do it on his own. Now, at Udinese was get that ball to Miretti. He gives it to Chiesa, Cambiasso, he drops in. Like it was fun to watch. On Sunday, it was just basic, like back to basics, basically. It's just about technique and the mindset. I think Miretti. I don't know which game it was. The first time he played, it was at home. It was one of the first time. I think it was Fiorentina or like one of those teams. I don't know. That first half was unbelievable from Miretti. I'll never forget that half because it was clean. It was first touch. He saw things way in advance. I don't know if it was Roma. It was at home. It could be Roma. Now you say that, it was a red team. I was thinking about Benevento, but it wasn't Benevento because I was with Pirlo. But it was so clean because he saw things way in advance. We were playing on a Sunday as well because I know where I was watching that game, and that was a Sunday, and it wasn't late, so I don't think it was Roma, to be honest. But EC's thing is just, as of now, his final end product is 50-50. Sometimes like he pulls it off, and sometimes it's a complete disaster. And I have no problem with admitting it. He needs to improve that. And to the person spamming the comments, every single time I mention the name Miretti, I criticize Miretti. I don't think people listen. I say he has great potential. Is it the finished article? No, not at all. He does things completely wrong at times. He does. But he needs to have a run of games in one position. I think people miss that when I say that. In one position. Not man mark the entire Napoli midfield out of the game. Not do that. Not play second striker. All those crappy ideas from Allegri. But let him play. Let him link up with Chiesa on the left-hand side. Let him link up with Cambiasso on the left-hand side. And let's see if he will improve. But playing him now, pulling him out 45 minutes, giving him 20 minutes, then benching him in 3 games, he's not going to improve, period. Nobody's going to improve. You could have an impact sometimes, but overall, you're not going to improve. So you might say leave him alone. Fine. The club made a decision, Allegri made a decision to not do that as of now. But I still believe in him. I'm not going to throw that away because, as I say, from what I've seen out of the youth system, he is the most talented player I've seen. He is to me, and Hoyson comes close. He comes close, but Miretti was. I don't know if it's going to translate it, but I'm not going to say, oh, he's crap. When he just turned out 20, had one season with the club in a crappy team, not playing consistently, playing different positions, basically every single time he got the chance, I'm not going to throw that away immediately because that's just horrendous. If you're going to do that, then the next gen is going to flop completely because then you're just going to throw every single player out of the door really quickly. And that's not how it's supposed to work, in my opinion. But enough of Miretti. I will talk about Miretti tomorrow. No, Friday. When I'm doing a preview, I will mention Miretti again for reasons you will probably already know. Other than that, no news. It's as simple as that. You know, let's see if tomorrow something breaking will happen with Kostic. I don't expect that, but as of now, that's basically it for today. Youngsters, cutting costs, all those things. Those are the things we should be hyped up about in 23 as a Juve fan, basically. So let's see how that will go, I guess. If you haven't liked the video, like it, because I can see a lot of people haven't liked it. So please like the video and subscribe. Tomorrow, Justin and Julian are back with their live show. I will drop my preview for September. I will be back live on Friday. Yes, Friday. Julian will drop his preview on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, the match day stuff, and then it's an international break, and we're gonna do different stuff during the international break. But yeah, let's see. I guess the transfer window was, I think it was worse than expected. Let me know in the comments. Was the transfer season for us worse than you initially anticipated, basically? Because I said it's going to be a very quiet transfer window, but I didn't expect it to be this quiet. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I'm absolutely not gonna lie. I expected one or two more signings, even if they're crappy ones. I said it at the time, but I just expected two more players coming in, you know, and that could have been the case if we sold players. I know that, but that was my expectations basically. Because we just signed Timothy Weah, and that's it. You kept Milik, you kept Rabiot, and Camiasso came back basically, and that's it. That's a team. You dropped in Hildes and Huijsen potentially, and your team is set. You know, so it's disappointing. It's probably the worst transfer window we have had. I don't know, forever, almost basically. Like even when we were crap, we signed Diego. You know, it didn't turn out to be a good signing. You know, but he still pulled that off. So um, let's see. Let's see. Where am I from? I'm from Belgium. I thought that was generally known on this channel, and I can see my stream is having issues. So I'm gonna leave because YouTube is just doing a madness. I expect some unknowns coming in, but some big guys leaving. Yeah, same. That's maybe the biggest shock, that no big player has actually left the club, and that's positive for us as a fans now. But maybe moving forward into next season, it can come back to hunt us. So let's see how that will go. But I'm gonna leave because YouTube is doing absolutely weird stuff for some reason. Thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. Go watch my podcast with Julian as well. I'm gonna leave. My voice is gone. So see ya. Friday. See you to Friday. Ciao.